It's raining out. The ground is delightful. I wanted to show it. Look at the sand and the grass and bits of debris. There's little pools pooling up down around the roots of the grass. The sand, sandy mud, muddy sand. The rain sorts it out. The water causes the small particles and larger ones to separate. It's really pretty. And then it balls up in these little bumps, like tiny mushrooms almost, but they're made out of sand. I bumped into a wire. Here's the wire. It's connected to something up there. There's the edge of the ground. There's the little pool. There's my feet. I don't have swim trunks on for once. They're blue jeans. I found my blue jeans after losing them for the longest time. But there's my greenhouse and my shepherd's hook. I think it's over that way, if I'm not too disoriented. I can't see any of this. It's a thing where I have to feel whatever it is. But you can see, if you can see. If you're blind, I'll describe what's here. This is a shepherd's hook. It's actually two shepherd's hooks together. They're square rods, I guess you could call them. Square rods that are curved. They curve towards the top. There's some keys that I've got hanging from it and some wire. And there it curves over higher than my head. And there's a weightlifting weight, a barbell, a mini barbell. There's two of them, one on each shepherd's hook. They're tied together, the two shepherd's hooks. They cross over. Where are they tied? They were tied, yeah, there at the ground. There's some string tying them. There's some wire going up and then down and around. It's kind of chilly out. Hopefully lightning doesn't strike those keys. There's my steel drum, still chiming. What's this on the ground? It's a chunk of an acorn. It's half of an acorn. Look at that. There's the inside where the other half of the seed is. Got a bunch of acorns. This shell piece will be useful for an art project down the road. And the inner piece might still sprout. Let's see, there's my greenhouse. Here I am inside of it. But there's the door. Oh, it's so much nicer in the warm. I've got some of my tools and supplies lined up. Most of them I took to their new categories up on the porch. But I need to dispatch the rest of these up too. It's this with some wire. There's a piece of wire that's twisted. I'm gonna put some foil on it later and it'll look pretty neat, I do say. I could do that right now. I want to put a magnet right there in the top of it. That'll be fun to create. The foil makes the wire curves into more three-dimensional objects, solid objects. There's some cedar wood oil. I use that in combination with some raw apple cider vinegar to treat my mosquito bites I got this morning after forgetting to put anything on, but it treated it nicely. stung, but I washed it off, and now I'm not experiencing any itching or anything. So self-medication accomplished. What else is here? There's some bottle caps around a magnet. I haven't drank any beer since April 12th, so I guess it's been almost 2 months. Here's some keys. I got a bunch of old used keys on eBay. Some of them are unused, but I think it's probably a locksmith. I don't know if any of them were seized. Some of the car keys looked like they had been bent somehow, so they wouldn't be usable. So I wonder if there were some impounded keys included among the batch I got. But there's another little set. This one, look, it's got a bent tip. Let's see what the rest of these are like. What else? Some jar lids. I need those for sprouting. Here's a cat food can with a lid almost detached. Still hangs on there. I might wire it to make something. Some bottle caps, some constructs, nuts. Those are just nuts. I'll have to make something out of them. It's my childhood toy. I picked these up off of eBay. I used to make things with it as a little kid growing up, but they're still ubiquitous and quite a bit cheaper than they probably were for my parents. But God bless them for getting me constructive toys. Here's some lentils, little tiny lentils in a bag, but they puff up with water. I forgot about some in a jar and they turned putrid. Methane smelling things. I killed them. I feel bad about that, but next time I won't be so forgetful. I'll put them in a glove and leave it in a cat food can for 8 hours or overnight to soak, and then I'll hang them up so they don't starve of oxygen. Like those poor. I'll actually show you the jar. It's still up here. Some cooler things though, like a coconut water. Oh, this is regular water now. Here's my raw apple cider vinegar. Here's a bottle cap I bit. Here's a dead acorn. These are kind of paused in motion. I think they might have got scorched by the sun, but they're still pretty. I'm gonna put some aluminum foil on them to turn them into art projects, maybe Christmas ornaments. Acorn sprout ornamentation. Most of the sprouts did survive. These are my few negligent victims. They're still pretty though. Look at that. It's got a curling root. The trunk would come up from this point here on top, but there's the root again. Hopefully I'm getting it in the frame so you could see it, if you could see. That's a pretty dead acorn. Let's get a living one. I've got a bunch of live ones too. Yes, there's a bag full. I need to check on them more so they don't wind up like the lentils in the jar. I'm not gonna bother searching for it because they're dead. Living things so are worth looking at. Got a bag within bags. Here is a handful of acorn sprouties. Look at that. A fistful. It's not exactly a punching fist, but a loving fist. A grateful fist. They're more precious than dollars and far more useful. These trees that'll grow from them not only produce food, but oxygen and hold the soil and give shade and home for birds and insects and other necessary advocates of the environment. Oak trees. I have a handful of oak trees here. Potential oak trees. If I sow them in the soil and they take root, they could grow into big trees. And they've already grown a lot since I've had them. But I need to set them down someplace they'll be safe. I've got a bunch of them in soil already. I have to expand my rooting project. These cardboard things will do inside the greenhouse, provided the plastic sheeting of the greenhouse cover doesn't fail. There, you see I'm leaving these bags open so that they don't die from lack of oxygen. Like this one, it's not open. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. Up to the task. Yes. Got it. There's some more acorns sprouting. Is that a leaf? No, it couldn't be. Look at that root. Look at that root coming out of the baby acorn. It's a tiny little one. There it is. Here's my nunchaku. I've got them hanging up so I'll be more likely to practice. There's some more keys hanging from a strut of the greenhouse. They slide on the tube, aluminum tubing. I'm not sure if it's aluminum. Actually, it might be steel because the magnet sticks to it, but not that strongly. Some sort of alloy that's thin enough to bend, but has enough iron in it to be strong. Here's some of my tools. Let's see, what's this? This is some kind of paint can opener tool, but it's also good for hacking at roots, I guess. If you needed to dig, it's a nice digging tool. I have another paint can tool I wanted to use to excavate around some roots to cut staves. There's an abundance of them out in the forest. Saplings that would be good for that. Here's a brush and a pumice stone, I guess for feet. And this has become, strange that this showed up here, it just migrated out, but it has become my nail salon too, because I have a soft spongy sanding block. It's soft on the inside, but the outside is rough like this pumice stone. And I did my nails today. Here, there's my self manicure. They feel a lot better. I feel like I hadn't cut my nails for well over a week, maybe several weeks even, but I did it. Here's my other hand. Did my toes too this morning. I felt so much better. I don't like clipping my nails because they turn into hangnails, but if I have something to file them, I didn't file any of them too close really. I feel kind of like I might have though on my index finger there. But very glad that was accomplished. Here's my bathtub, my mini bath tub. It's got some cigar butts piled up. What else is down here? There's a shovel, camp spade, like the Boy Scouts military carry. What else? Coconut water, containers. There's my sanding block that I used on my nails this morning. My toenails, my big toenails feel a lot better now too. They had been very ragged, but I finally dealt with that. Here's a bottle neck that is broken. Yeah, a little bit sharp, but not really. And there's some sand packed up in the mouth of the bottle. So I'm going to cover that with aluminum foil and make it into an art object here later. Here's some branches I pruned off the bushes nearby. They're slowly drying. They have some sort of flowers at the tips. I wonder what all is here. I forget day to day, so you're discovering and I'm discovering at the same time. Really, well, relative, not exactly the same time because you'll be watching this later and I'll have already discovered it. But as I'm recording this video, it's a discovery of my stuff. This is a bell. This is ACV, raw ACV. It smells wonderful. I did my my bug care this morning, like I mentioned earlier. I did it inside the greenhouse, this plastic tent, and it was strong. It was strong, really. I didn't want to hang around in it. I didn't have to get out right away, but it was definitely something you wouldn't want to sit in. It's irritating to your lungs if you get too much of it in a concentrated form. Here's a little baby funnel. That's fun to have here. There's some nunchucks. Just go back with the other ones just for better organization. There's the funnel, there's a jar top, there's ACV, there's the coconut water, here's a container containing some soil and an acorn. It needs to be watered. One of these coconut waters is a watering container. Here's another bell. This is the same bell I got from my dad for his birthday present years ago. From out here in Georgia. I ordered it from a hotel room. Yeah, and it's by Caw Castings. If you ever want to get one of these, they're very pretty little acorn bells. I have to hang it back up in another little minute. Oh, there's some more leaves on the top shelf. I have a few more tools. There's some milk jugs that I've cut into. Yes, that one still has water enough in the soil. A drop just dripped on me. I wonder if the roof is pierced. This one is still moist enough. I should really do this first thing in the morning, because there was one that I don't think was adequately hydrated. I don't even know how many I have, but it's a relatively small space, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Yeah, that one being by the door probably dried out quicker. Let's check the roof ones. This one's moist, which probably means the others are too. This one at the end could use some water. Oh, it's dripping. This next one towards the back. Gotta find a place where it's slit wide enough. Up there on the lower down, there's a piece sticking out to reach through, and it's got moderate moisture. Could use some more. I'll water these soon. I only have a few minutes. I'm probably late already. I'm supposed to be training by 2, but I wanted to do a little tour before 2, so maybe I'll have a few more minutes left to upload it before I have to get crack-a-lackin'. The inside of this greenhouse is very wet. There's moisture there on the surface, condensation that's built up, and there's little bumpies on it too. Something spiky in the sand just pricked my foot. Not too bad. There's the zipper again. I had to patch the other side. There's the duct tape I used. It's not the best patch job, but it sufficed. It suffices. Here's the sand outside again. I'm going to rake it in just a little bit. It's kind of uneven here. It needs to be smoothed down. You see there's a big slope. There I walked down a little ways and I'm turning so you can see the slope I just walked down. It's very pleasant to walk on. Now I'm standing in the grass, which is slightly less pleasant, but not as unpleasant with the sand beneath it, as I've mentioned quite a few times. But it's a wonderful little piece of paradise out here. The rain is falling just gently enough to feel it but not be unpleasant, and the air has warmed up since I've been sitting in the warmer greenhouse. Without the sun, I don't want it to get clammy, but it'll be out again before too long, and I will do another one after this is cleaned up and straightened and modified some more. Going up the hill. It's fun climbing the sand in the rain. See my concrete pad. And there are my rakes and my broom. There might be some other stuff like a hula hoop. And I don't know if the propane tank is there, but it used to be. It's a box of acorns. Yeah, I wanted to show you some acorns. Look at these. I have them in the soil. Some of them are actually growing into the cardboard there of these egg cartons. Some plastic below them to keep more moisture on the ones beneath that. Here you can see there's another layer of acorn sprouting. Very pretty. I like how the roots curl around. And there's the sky. Birds. There's the rain. Maybe you can catch a drop there on the lens. So nice out here. I'm just amazed. Amazed and amazed and amazed.